Guys, this is your boy Trey with Let's Just Talk Mental Health. This is a call. This is a group rather that's within my community, my Let's Just Talk Trey community. Again, man, we hold it down when it comes to talking about mental health, spreading the awareness of it. That's one of the reasons why we do this call as a group. And today is actually a mixture of my public and private group. So there may be people that are jumping into the call while we're talking, that are from my public group. There's no one really in my private group yet. But we do have a special guest here today. And she's actually doing something very new on my platform. Like I've never had anybody do this. But this is gonna be me and MayMay, and MayMay is gonna be my co-host for today. So as a co-host, she's pretty much holding it down. She is running this just as much as I am. So we're gonna be tossing each other questions until other people join in here or not. But I'm gonna ask her some questions. She's gonna ask me some questions. She's also the interviewer, you know. So today, look at this show as just as much hers as it is mine. Allow her to, again, come on here, accept her, go follow her. If y'all haven't done that, go do that right now. It'll be below in the description. But show her support, show her love. She's about to start her own podcast. And this is kind of why we're doing this. So before I go any further, though, let me introduce her. May, how are you doing? How's your day? How's everything going with
I am doing good.
you?
Everything is going great.
Great, 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 great. The week
Busy,
is great.
but yep,
Busy week?
busy. I've been working on my podcast and all that, like brainstorming. Yeah, I
Let's
got the
go.
introduction ready.
Let's
So,
go.
yep.
Do you want to tell them a little bit about it? Because they listening right now. So for people watching, what is it? What are you going to be talking about? What are you going to be doing? What is it?
um, so I'm basically gonna be talking about all the experiences, all the trauma that I have experienced as a young child,
Wow.
and like what helped me, what didn't. And by the way, I am not a licensed therapist. I'm just speaking. Yeah, I just want to put it out
You
there.
got to
I
put
don't
that
want to get
out there. You got to
this
put that out
right.
there. You
So
got
it's
to.
just everything that I'm talking about is going to
Mm-hmm.
be just something that I experienced
Yeah.
or a friend experience or a family member.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also going to have my cousin co-host and everything. So that's going to be great. So, yeah. My goal is basically to like reach out to young kids in my
Mm-hmm.
community and also in other communities that can relate to the topic that we are discussing about.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So people will be able to. Will other people be able to hop in your podcast as well, or is it just you and your cousin?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay.
I want it to be where people can like come on there and speak up.
Nice.
Like basically
Nice.
let your voice be heard. I
Mm.
mean, if you had a parent like mine,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you will want to get up there
Mm-hmm.
and let your voice be heard.
Yeah.
So if you want to get on there, just speak. I
Mm.
want to hear other people's opinion on some things. I want to hear other people's, experience on childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
What helped you? What didn't help you? So yeah.
That is so dope. What is the inspiration behind this? Before we move into the topic for today, like what's making you, I guess, in some sense, want to have a voice for people within your, you said within your community.
Hmm.
So within, and are you saying your community as in like, I know you're from Kenya. So are you saying like your community as in like people from Kenya, or is it just the black community in general, or like, what community are you trying to target? I know you're Muslim, so the Muslim community within the black community. What community are you trying to target, and then why?
Both. So
Mm,
mostly the community that I'm from, which is the Bantu community,
yeah.
because when it comes to Bantu community, ooh, the girls go through
Mm,
hell. Like when I say hell, yeah, they go through hell. So I just wanted to speak
wow.
on that, and it's like, hey, you're not alone. I've been through it too, and
Yeah.
I'm still here. You know.
Mm,
So
mm,
yeah, I just wanted to reach out to them and be like, hey, you're not alone. Somebody's with you. So, and then my cousin been through the same thing too. So, yeah,
Kaya, you to my Kaya?
yeah, yep.
Wow, 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 wow.
Why are you
That's
saying her name like that?
like what?
You like Kaya. You like Kaya. The first time you asked me that, I said, "Who the hell is Kaya?"
That's her name, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Kaya.
Kaya.
That's her nickname. I recently find out that that was her nickname. I'm like,
What?
what?
You just recently found out that's your cousin's
Yeah,
nickname?
because I always called her Rakia. I'm like Rakia, and then
Oh,
so she basically took the first few letters,
3 letters and
and then
dropped it.
yeah, dropped it, and
Mhm.
then I don't know why she did that, but
Yeah, that's crazy. But I mean, that's dope. Like the fact that y'all have that relationship, the fact that, you know, you both are trying to bring awareness to,
mhm.
what it is that you both have experienced within the community, and then being able to, like, in some sense, shine light on those particular instances or moments. I'm not sure how detailed you're gonna get. And I know you
Oh,
should.
I'm gonna get detailed, like really detailed. And
Wow. Wow.
somebody was telling me like, so I had sent my brainstorming sheet to my boyfriend, and he
Mm,
was reading on it, and he was like, "Oh my God, are you like trying to diss your family? This sounds like," he was
mm,
like, "This sounds like a diss record."
mm,
Like, and then somebody else was like, "I hope you know that when you do this, a
yeah,
lot of people are going to be coming for your head because you basically exposing them." And I'm just like, yeah, I know. I know. So some of the stories that I'm going to be talking about is going to get a lot of people's attention and be like, hey, you
yeah,
need to shut this down.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. And I didn't know that you made your mind up. Like you already have your mind made up. Like you're going to talk about that stuff.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna talk about a lot. A lot.
That's you're doing something that not even I have done. Like there's a few things I want to share. People know
Mm-hmm.
me as Trey. Oh, Trey likes to talk. Let's just talk. Like, but there's a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about too, still, and I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And you are really making me like think right now. I'm like, wow, like what she's doing. That's actually it's dope what you're doing. Like what you're doing and shining the light on the things you're shining the light on. It takes boldness and it's risky. It's
Oh,
risky.
especially
Hmm.
especially with my parents being public figures, and yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, my dad gonna he's gonna have a heart attack.
It ain't had nothing.
Hopefully he don't.
I ain't had nothing to do with this. I ain't had nothing to do with this. Y'all hear me?
It
Look,
was it was Trey's
it
fault.
was
He
not
gave
my
me
fault.
that
Nah, y'all
idea.
better get out of here. Nah, all I've been doing is talking. Look, I ain't do nothing. So don't y'all come for me. I ain't do nothing. But but
But
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that's that's about it. That's the overview of my
mm-hmm.
thing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And again, guys, go follow her so that y'all can stay up to date on that. Do that right now. I know I usually say this at the end of the call, but do it right now. Go follow her and keep in touch with what she's doing. Stay updated with her podcast because I think she has a lot of big things coming. And her story, again, I know a lot of your story. I know some of the things you share with me, and her story is amazing, y'all. Like you will want to hear this. You will want to hear how she went through what she went through, and how she endured, But yeah, let's dive right on into it, man. So the topic for today, we were just talking about two topics. We kind of didn't discuss it beforehand, but we usually just let it flow,
Yeah.
So, but it's okay. It's still cool. We still gonna bring in the content. We still gonna make sure we deliver. But I'm gonna hand it off to my co-host here, MayMay. MayMay, what are we talking about today? What you want to get into?
Mental health and culture.
Mm, mm. So that's a deep one. That's a deep one. And again, she came up with this topic. So I want to ask you, what made you want to dive into this specific topic? Yeah.
Um, Lord, I thought I had this.
You good.
But
Take it on.
um because I feel like some cultures they don't believe in mental health, and even if
Mm,
they don't believe in it, they don't know how to, I guess, handle it. They
yeah.
don't know how to like talk to somebody or how to help the person that's dealing with mental health,
Yeah.
you know. So
Nice.
I guess the first question that I will ask you is, what's your definition of mental health? Like when you hear that word.
You just threw me way off. Like
You
because
wasn't ready. I
I
told you I wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. Like I just felt so small right now. Like this never happened. Guys, do y'all realize what's happening here? I'm being interviewed. They're gonna be like, Trey? Like that's what everybody gonna say in the comments. Like, what just happened? All right. Let me regroup. All right, hold on. You're gonna have to ask the question again. Or say it again.
So the first question that I had was, what's your definition of mental health? What comes to your mind when you hear the word mental health?
Man, that's a great question. And I would say what comes to my mind when I hear mental health, when I think about the word mental health or the phrase mental health, is I want to say, in a sense, a fight for peace, a fight for peace, happiness, joy. Um, yeah, peace. I think peace. That's
Hmm,
a
I
strong
never heard
thing.
of that.
Hmm.
I never heard of that. I like that.
Really?
I like that.
I'm telling you, that fight, like you're fighting for it because I feel like in a sense, when you mental health, I know so many people who struggle with their mental health. I know so many people
Hmm.
who've gone through it, who've had therapy. I know a lot of people who've thought about suicide, who've tried to commit suicide. Um, they struggle with their mental health every day. Like, I know a lot of people like that, and I say one of the biggest things that they talk about is the fact of how they feel sad, just randomly, or they can't control how they feel. They have the ups and downs. So I feel like
Hmm.
it's always a fight. You know what I'm saying? You're always fighting to feel good.
Hmm.
You know, they're never always there, but it's always like this.
Oh,
It's
okay.
always a wave. So that's why I say it's fighting for your peace. Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with that?
I have. There's been one moment where I have, in some sense, probably like I was borderline depression. Like there was one moment where that kind of happened to me in college. College is already stressful. You're already going through the
Oh
school.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Man, I'm
Come
telling you.
on. Well, we both said, man.
I
Right.
wasn't like that with like college, but I was like that in high school. Like
Why? Why high
I
school?
was cuz I would say cuz I was getting bullied.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like it was bad, like
Wow.
to the point where I wanted to commit suicide. So I feel
Wow.
like yeah, it's really I wasn't like that in college. I was actually I don't know what I was in college, but
Yeah. Were you
but
happy in college? Were you at
in
least happy?
college, yeah, I was like I was happy, I guess you
Mm-hmm.
can say.
Yeah.
I mean, I was partying all the time,
Mm.
doing God knows what, but I would say I was happy, but I was depressed,
Okay.
suicidal and sad when I was in high school.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow. Did the people around you know this? Did they know this about you?
they did, but they didn't care.
What?
They didn't care.
Your family,
See,
like pe people
like my
close to you?
family, where I come from, they don't believe in mental health. Yeah, they don't like they do not believe in it. If you're sad, you're on your own. If you're suicidal, you're on your own. And if you talk to them about it, they'd be like, okay. Or they'd be like, oh, you just being
Damn.
stupid. You just being stupid.
Damn.
Like in high school, I used to get bullied. I used to, get my hijab pulled off. And I
What?
used to, yes. And people used to call me terrorist. And then I come
What?
home. Yes, it was bad. And then I will come home and
Yeah.
have nobody to talk to.
Mm.
Like, and I told my parents about it. I think that in some sense they didn't know what it was
Yeah.
or what I was going through,
Yeah.
so like they couldn't help me,
Mm-hmm.
and then where my parents come from and the culture in America is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like I guess that was the biggest obstacle. that they were facing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was facing too,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like I was alone.
Yeah.
So
Mm. That is deep. That's real deep right there. And I would say the same for me. Like I never experienced any of it to that extent. Like I gotta be honest. Like when people tell me about their mental health and stuff, I'm just like, wow, I have never been to the point of suicide. Like I've never been to the point of I've been sad. I've been feeling like this, but
mhm.
just more so like regret. Like, dang, I wish this didn't happen. I wish this didn't happen. But I never really have felt that deep sadness and anguish that comes with all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never really felt that. So I think that's why I'm very curious about it. Cause I'm like, man, like I see how many people it affects. You know what I'm saying? You got bullied.
Yeah.
Mhm. Go ahead, go ahead.
That's why I always tell people, like, you gotta be careful who you bully, because
Mm,
there's certain people who were like, okay, they can't take it. They can't
mhm,
take it. I feel like, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I feel like school shootings happen because of
mm,
that. You
mm,
know, kids get bullied. You over here thinking some people can take it,
yeah.
and some people, they have a low, like, if that lower gets all filled up, now
Mhm,
they're going to the best, you know, I guess violence is
mhm,
their way of solving it,
mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, like you don't know what people have been through. You don't know what's going on you don't know what's
yeah,
going on in their house, you know? Like
true.
when they leave school, you don't know what's happening at home. Some kids are getting beat, raped, molested or you, all type of stuff. Like just
Hmm.
crazy things happening by their parents, by their own parents.
Yeah.
Like things like that are happening to people. So when they come to school, that may be a way for them to escape. But then they come to
Oh,
school,
yeah.
you then come to school to escape, and then you get the same treatment, if worse.
Yeah, treatment.
You
Yeah.
know? Did you reach out to the teachers? Did they see this going on? Did they see it in what happened there?
Um, in some sense, yes,
Mm,
but it was just, I felt like they wasn't helping because they wasn't understanding it.
mm,
So
mm,
yeah, it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start. Woo! I got to. Oh my god, I don't even want to discuss it, but yeah, it got bad. Like,
mm.
yeah, and then that's when my cousin stepped in, like
Wow.
Rakia. That's why
Wow.
Rakia is like not just a cousin, but she's my best friend.
Wow.
Yeah, because she
Mm,
always had my back.
yeah. 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 That is. Did it ever get physical? I wanted to ask that. Like, did you ever?
Oh, absolutely,
Wow. So you
absolutely,
got into fights with
yeah.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Mm.
It was basically, what is that saying that people say? I guess it's fight, or I don't know, something.
Like fight or flight or something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
Yeah. 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 And you
Yeah.
you chose to fight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
In most
Yeah.
cases, because
Mm. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. That is real crazy. Again, I grew up around a bunch of different cultures. Like, all like my elementary school was like, I guess predominantly black, I guess you can say. But when I moved to Georgia and I moved to kind of like I moved to a certain area where there was pretty much like a huge diversity. It was majority white, but then it was just like a huge mixture of people over the years. And so I've grown up around everybody from every culture, from every continent, from all over the world. From Persians, we would have International Day. Like that was always a thing.
you
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah, we had that every single like every year or every quarter of the year.
Wow.
Yeah, I grew
So
up around
you
a bunch
seen
of.
it all.
I've seen it all. I've had all that. Like, from females wearing hijabs to like I've had all of that. Like it's not shocking to me at all. I've talked to all type of people. So that's why when I hear this, I'm like if that happened in our school, people would have been like, what the heck? Because everyone's just different. But
Yeah.
that's crazy for people to pull something off like that, put it off your head and to disrespect you like that. That's
Hmm.
crazy, man. But that happens. You're bringing awareness to it by talking about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because it happens. It
Because
happens.
I don't want it to happen to my daughter. Oh no.
Yeah.
If it happens to my daughter, ooh,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'll be in the news, but we're not gonna discuss it. Oh, it happened to my little sister. Cause she had
Ah,
yeah, it happened to my little sister. And the thing is, my family already knows that if they come to me, I'm
yeah,
gonna go off.
yeah.
Like I'm a ticking bomb.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go off.
Hmm.
And she didn't come up to me and tell me about it. So this one time we were out having dinner and somebody had said something and she was like, yeah, this little boy is pulling my hijab off and stuff at school. And I said, excuse me? And then I had called the principal and I talked to her about it. That's my first step because
Yeah.
I have three rules. Like the first one is talk to the principal, the
Hmm.
second one is talk to the principal, and then the third one, we're gonna get parents involved.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's like now, if your parents get involved and nothing is changing, oh no, we going to the ring. We going to the ring. Now we going to the ring.
Ah,
Cause no,
I love that. She gonna bring them boxing gloves. She gonna be like,
right,
you take one, I take one. You ready? You ready?
right.
I
Them
love that.
classes gonna come in handy,
I love that. Yeah, them kickbacks. Like, I be seeing you.
right?
I be like, "Damn, who she ready? Who she about to fight? Well, I be looking at your videos like, who's she getting ready to fight? Like, man. But you're right. You're exactly right. You're right. I'm glad you saying all this. I'm glad you putting it into perspective. I'm glad you raising the awareness of it. Um, I got other questions, but I want you to not as you. This still you. You running your
No,
podcast, so go ahead.
you can go ahead.
No,
I'm
what
still thinking.
you said
I'm still thinking.
all
I'm
right.
still thinking. I had one, but then I forgot.
No,
Like
I understand.
when
I
you was talking
understand.
about culture and stuff, I had one, but I
Hmm.
forgot.
Well, I was actually going to go into that a little bit too. What is it like in the Bantu, right? Bantu culture. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is it like with the Bantu culture? Like, how do they perceive mental health? And I guess like, why do you think they perceive it that way?
I feel like most parents, I say most, not all,
Mm.
they are the ones who cause it.
Ooh.
Who,
Mm.
yeah, they
Mm.
they are
Why?
the.
Get into it. Come on. Come on. They listening. They listening.
You gonna have people come after me,
Oh, well, they don't come out to me. Don't come out to me.
but yeah, they the ones who like cause it because instead of you know sitting down there, if your
Mm.
child is like upset, sad, or your child does something, instead of sitting down there and talking to them, they will somehow either beat that child or
Mm.
God knows what, do worse.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And one of the example that I would say is like a girl being
Mm.
15. They will literally have that girl marry somebody that she doesn't want to. So if you do that to your child, what do you think is going to be the result of their mental
Mm.
health? You
Mm.
know? So like, yeah, they cause it,
Mm.
you know. And then when they cause it, they don't know how to fix it. They don't know. Basically, they're giving them a harmful pill, but do not know how to, cure it.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Do you? How do you think they can go about fixing it? For the parents that are listening to this and are like, "She's right. She's right. I did that to my kid. I did that to my daughter. I did that to my son." How do you think they could actually go about trying to fix it, trying to rectify it?
I feel like it depends on the situation.
Mm.
Like if your child comes up to you and tells you like, "Hey, Uncle Billy has
Mm.
been touching me," you know, instead of like pushing that child away, um, how about you sit down and talk to them?
Mm.
I had actually met a lawyer who told me this one time. He said, "In every truth, in every lie, there's always a truth." So,
Mm.
like, if a child comes up to you and tells you Uncle Billy was touching me, like, literally, there's a truth to it. Like,
Yep.
there might be some lies, but
Yep.
there's a truth to it. So,
Hmm.
it's like, instead of dismissing it, how about you sit down and talk to them? Like, sure that they can come up to you and talk to you about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
some
perfect.
parents they literally be like, no, that's not
Mm-hmm.
true, and then
Yeah.
they would say it to the child's face, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
And,
then yeah,
no, go
go
ahead. Go
ahead,
ahead. No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. You go ahead. You pouring out. You pouring out. Go ahead.
And
You
then with
pouring.
it, like in the Bantu community,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is if a child comes up, like for example, if my daughter were to come up to me
Mm-hmm.
and she tells me like, hey, Uncle Billy was touching me, here I am calling every auntie
Mm-hmm.
and like telling every auntie.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that doing to that child?
Yeah.
Like, it's damaging. Like, it's
Mm.
damaging their mindset
Oh,
on how.
they're telling,
Yeah,
they're telling them that he's been touching them.
yeah, like, so like they're telling everybody, and
Yeah.
that's like really damaging your
Embarrassing.
child. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's embarrassing. Like, don't do that. you know
Mm.
the best way I would say to fix it is just sit down and talk to them. And then it
Mm.
also depends on the situation. For
Mm.
like certain people in my culture,
Yeah.
if a child is misbehaving or acting up or depressed, what they do is they will send them to Africa, talking about, oh, they need to learn the Quran,
Mm.
which is like, that's not helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not helping at all.
Yeah.
So
Hmm. Yeah. Why do they think that would help them? They feel like the Quran would kind of like correct
yeah,
them. Yeah, correct their way.
and
Yeah.
correct them in some ways. And it's like,
Mm.
I feel like in some way yes, and then in some way no.
Mm.
Because why do you have to send them all the way like across the world
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
do that, instead
Hmm.
of like talking to them and then just like doing it where they're at.
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You are getting deep, woman. You are getting deep. This is deep, for real. Like, I'm like, wow, this is super deep. To hear about the culture and to hear about how things are sometimes like, how they deal with things within it, how they try to, like
Mhm.
you said, send you off thinking that just helps everything. When in fact, like you said, it's just sitting down and like this and talking,
Yeah. It
talking.
goes a long way, honestly. Just
Mm-hmm.
sitting down goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. And I think even now, that's why we have a lot of bad stuff going on still in our cultures. And, even here in America, like just the black community in America, like it's still the same way. I'm pretty sure you noticed that too. Like it's still the same way.
Hmm.
Like we don't really, we don't really, like we don't really take it seriously either.
Yeah.
It would be the same thing. If someone touching you back in the old days, it was, we don't tell nobody. You don't tell nobody about it. You don't tell that. That ain't happening to you. You ain't happening. You just making up stuff. That would
Hmm.
happen back in the old times. Um, and then it would just be other aspects and things of that nature that would happen where, even with the racism, I think racism is a big thing, but that can do a lot on you psychologically. Like that can mess with
Yeah.
you. You can walk around paranoid, thinking everyone's trying to get you, or so you have to. Sometimes you need to work on your mental health to make sure you don't think that way. You know,
Yeah.
and so you're right. Like going back into the whole area or aspect of making sure that we sit down and talk with our children, talk with our friends, talk with our parents about the importance of mental health, so that it's not overlooked or considered to
Hmm.
be not important. And then that
Yeah.
way, the person that's coming home or the little girl that's coming home being bullied, she doesn't feel like she's all alone.
Yeah.
Because these kids are killing themselves out here, man. Like they killing themselves. They are actually killing
Hmm.
themselves.
And it's really bad.
Man,
It's
it's
it's bad.
it's bad. Have you had a family member that has, and you don't have to answer this if it's too personal, but I was wondering if you had a family member that had killed themselves because of suicide.
Mm-mm.
Mm.
Thank God I never did. But I did have a friend that I went to this club with in high school who committed suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Mm.
that same reason.
Bullying?
Bully, because had she was pregnant at the age of 15. So after
Mm.
she had the baby, yeah, people were just like picking on her, and
Mm.
that's another thing in the community that's a problem, like picking on her, and then finally she couldn't take it no more, and then yeah, she killed herself.